Hello everybody, how are you all doing today? Today I'm gonna be doing a book review, but not just any book review. To be completely honest, I didn't even know if I was going to be physically capable of doing this book review, and that might sound overly dramatic, but I'm serious. I have not had a book evoke such emotions from me in a long time, and this is more on like a personal level. This book really related to me. I cried multiple times. It was an incredibly emotional experience. I'm pretty sure my family thought there was something seriously wrong with me. I may have looked miserable from the outside, but on the inside, I was just in awe and overjoyed with the absolute amazingness of this book. So yes, I debated whether or not I actually wanted to review this book because it was so special to me and I felt so emotional about it that I was like, I don't know if I can talk coherently about this. But there really isn't an option. I need to tell you guys about this book because I love it so much. It's actually a bit excessive. And that book is The Program by Suzanne Young. I just feel emotional just looking at it. I wasn't expecting to love this book as much as I did. I thought that this was going to be kind of a fun, action-packed, dystopian. No. It does have those things, yes, but it is much more serious than that and much deeper. The entire concept of this book is an important one, and it is much deeper than your typical dystopian book. Before I get into all of my thoughts and emotions about this book, that will come later. First, let me tell you guys what this amazing, beautiful book is about. The Program is a dystopian book, and it takes place in our world where suicide has become an international epidemic. Teenagers are all becoming depressed, the new generation is just going downhill. Parents are freaking out because all of their kids are trying to commit suicide, are severely clinically depressed. It is spread out across the globe, and it has become a serious problem. All of the young people in this book are sent to high schools where they are closely watched, and every morning they fill out a piece of paper where they briefly explain their feelings, what they're going through, if they are considering suicide, if they know anybody that has recently committed suicide. They are being closely analyzed every second of every day. In this book, there is something called The Program, and the program is meant for young people who are more of a danger than others, meaning they are very close to committing suicide and they are showing very dangerous signs of getting to that point. But nobody wants to go to the program because the program is not as great as they try to make it seem. The program advertises itself as fixing young people and making them happy again. They have advertisements of smiling, happy kids. It seems like the absolute perfect fix, but it's not. The program is bad. It is evil, and the kids in this book will do anything they can to make sure that they stay out of it. It is unclear what exactly the procedures are that happen at the program, but what is known is that everybody who goes into the program comes out of the program not remembering anything. They remember the basics, like who their parents are, who they are, only the information that is necessary. The idea is that with all of the baggage out of their head, they will be able to emerge back into the world with a clean new slate where they will then be able to be happy. It has so many consequences. For example, if you are in a relationship but either you or your boyfriend or your girlfriend is sent into the program, when they come out, they will have no idea who you are. They will have no idea that you were dating. Every memory that you shared with that person will be gone. It's like these people come out of the program a completely different person. So this book follows a girl named Sloane who is doing everything she can to put on a brave face, smile every day when she goes to school, and act like everything's fine. She has no choice but to hide all of it because the last thing she wants is to be sent to the program. We have another character in this book named James, and James is Sloane's boyfriend, and James is doing the same thing as Sloane. He is taking care of Sloane, making sure that she can keep everything under control, and at the same time he is also trying to mask his depression and the emotions that he is going through. So this book really follows Sloane and James as they are going through this journey and going through this really hard time and trying desperately to protect both themselves and each other from getting into the program. That is all I'm going to say about the plot of this book. There's obviously a lot more that happens. You can probably make some guesses, but I'm not going to spoil anything for you. Things get absolutely terrible and awful, and you want to chuck the book at your wall or like at your cat, but don't do that because that'll be me. There are so many elements to this book that make it special. Firstly, obviously the theme of depression and mental illness is a huge one for this book. It is primarily what makes this book such an emotional roller coaster. I think that this book will hit home for a lot of people because if you have suffered through depression yourself, which a lot of people do and have, or even if you have somebody in your life that has gone through depression, I think that most people will be able to find some element of this book and its theme relatable. Personally, I was able to relate to this book on a very deep level. I think that maybe I wouldn't have picked this book up if I knew that it was going to hit so close to home. It brought back a lot of memories for me because I have had people in my life that I am really close to that have gone through very, very serious depression. So this was a little bit difficult for me to read because it was kind of like reliving my own memories, but I am so glad that I did. I really, really enjoyed reading this, even though some of the themes were so familiar and personal for me. It is such an incredible reading experience, I think, especially for people who can relate to its theme. I really, really urge all of you to pick up this book and read it, whether or not depression has played a part in your life, because I really think that every single person could get something amazing out of this read. I was really impressed by how perfectly Suzanne Young was able to capture the emotions and feelings that these characters were going through, and just depression as a whole. I was blown away because it was just on point. She really, really nailed it. I was just incredibly impressed by the character development in this book, how she really portrayed what these characters were feeling in a way where it felt like it was coming off of the pages and seeping into you, and you were feeling what these characters were feeling. Not necessarily in a bad way, just you felt like you were there with them, and it made the reading experience that much more special. I just really, really loved that this is a book that could have all of the fun elements of a YA dystopian, like the action, the adventure, and the romance, but it also has such a deeper theme and something that I think could really change people's perspective on certain things. As for the writing in this book, I loved the writing style because it just flowed, and it's the kind of writing where you don't even realize that you're reading. I forgot to eat, drink water, do anything. I was just like, this book is also very suspenseful and sort of creepy because it really emphasizes a society where you really don't have control over your own well-being or the outcome of your own life. It's in the hands of this bigger entity that you really don't know anything about. The people that are in power in this book are really creepy, and they have this attitude to them that is just so not human. So this book really juggles between good and evil and what is morally correct. It makes you think, you know, if something like this actually did happen to our world, what would we do about it? It certainly would not be an easy fix. We probably would see a lot of this similar juggle between good and bad. What is the right thing to do? At what point do we have the right to completely change an individual's life for reasons that we believe will benefit them? It's really just one of those books that challenges how you think about things, but also just makes you want to cry. While this book is a tearjerker, there are so many heartfelt and wonderful moments in this book, which brings me to my next important part of this book, something that I felt really, really made this book so special: the relationship between Sloane and James. I'm gonna make a big statement here, but I mean it. This may be my favorite fictional couple I have ever read about. There's no insta-love, there's no love triangle, none of that. This is very real. Sloane and James are already together when you begin this book, which typically in YA books, relationships develop over time. Many people are drawn to the appeal of the development of a relationship and the tension and the build-up and all of that. You don't need any of that with this book because the relationship between Sloane and James, even though they're already together, there's so much development in their relationship, so many terrible things that happen to them. They go through so much. And what I loved most about them is that they are not like your typical YA couple. They're really exactly what a teenage couple would be. Their relationship is clumsy, they make mistakes. Neither of them are perfect, but they love each other so deeply. I have never been so affected emotionally by a relationship in a book. Possibly my favorite part of this book was the relationship between these two characters because it was just heart-wrenchingly beautiful. This book is one that is going to stick with me. I immediately went and added it to my favorites list on Goodreads because I couldn't believe how much I love this book, how much I was able to relate to it on a personal level. I think that that's one of the things that really makes me determine when a book is my favorite. There are obviously a lot of books that I love, but for me, I'm really picky about what books are my favorite. And for me, usually when a book is my favorite, it is because somehow I was able to relate to it, it resonated with me, and it somehow changed my perspective on something, and this is one of those books completely. That is all I'm gonna say. I'm going to leave the Goodreads link for this book in the description so you guys can go click on it, check it out more for yourself, see if you want to get it, which strongly urge that you do. That is all I have to say about my precious baby, the program. If you do end up reading this book, let me know what your thoughts were on it, and if you have already read this book, go ahead in the comments and let me know what you thought about it. I'm gonna wrap things up, so I hope that you guys enjoyed today's book review. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. I hope that you'll go and have yourselves a fabulous day, and I will see you guys next time.